What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another granularity tutorial and how-to. Today, we are going to talk about OpenClaw. Now, I know that's kind of been on, at least in the AI world, it's been ringing some bells and really sounding the alarm for a lot of other companies and a lot of people on how they want to kind of create agents from now on. And I think it's really cool. I think it's really awesome. I think it's great that in the time where we had, N8N and Zapier and I guess Agent Builder, I think from OpenAI, we now have maybe, as I think the whole thing is like the first billion-dollar company, which is not even a company, it's open source now. So I think they're talking about what could have been versus what is. But they're saying that OpenClaw is this first billion-dollar what would have been company. But OpenClaw is this open source tool that is able to use agents to do whatever kind of work you need, and you can communicate with it through iMessage, through Telegram, through WhatsApp, to kind of, again, look through blogs, scrape the web, create images. It can basically just do a lot at the click of your phone or through text messages or whatever it may be. So it's a really cool tool. I plan on using it and doing more tutorials with it and seeing what I can dig into with it. I think OpenAI recently onboarded the founder of OpenClaw, Peter Steinberg, I think his name is. And I think he's operating on a consultant level versus like actually an employee. But either way, big move for OpenAI. I know that OpenAI and Anthropic kind of been competing for a while now, but I think this might put OpenAI in a top spot, at least in the future, 100%. But anyways, today, we're just going to talk about how to install OpenClaw, how to at least configure it. And this will be a quick kind of tutorial just to explain what OpenClaw is, what it can do, and what it could be used for. So anyways, this is the documentation page. As you can see, CLI setup for Mac and Windows. Then you kind of run through the gateway status, the OpenClaw dashboard, so forth and so on. And you're kind of able to just do, it's a pretty quick setup, pretty easy setup. I believe they also do have I think it's OpenClaw GitHub out there that I think you can access. I know it's gone through different names, OpenClaw, Claude Code. I forgot what the other one was. But yeah. Personal assistant you run on your own device. It answers you on channels you already use: WhatsApp, Telegram, Slack, Discord, Google Chat, iMessage, blah, blah, blah. Extensions to Blue Bubbles, Matrix, Zalo, and yeah, pretty easy setup, nothing crazy. But anyways, let's kind of jump in and really see what we can do with it, honestly. Or let's not see what we can do with it, but let's see just in terms of doing a tutorial real quick. So we're going to follow the Get Started guide that's on the main page here, not on the GitHub page. And what you want to do is you want to pop open, let's get this out of the way actually. You want to pop open your PowerShell. And you want to go to the site and you want to copy this command here. Again, obviously I'm using Windows. If you're using Mac, obviously use this, but I'm using Windows. So we're going to do this IWR-USEB, copy it, and simply place it here. Let it run. And as you can see, OpenClaw installer, Windows detected. It'll run through kind of the checks that it needs to know and give you an idea on what might need to be included and what might not need to be included. But I'm gonna let that run, and then we're gonna come back in a bit. So now that the installation is done, you reach this part of the tutorial where you see Lobster has landed. Your terminal will never be the same, which is kind of cool. I kind of like it. When I was listening to a Lex Friedman podcast, actually, and I believe the founder of OpenClaw was on there, the idea of the whole Claw thing, or the Claude Code kind of vibe, was it Claude Code? No, I forgot what it was called before. Maybe it was called Claude Code. No, it's OpenClaw. I forgot what it was called, but it was called something else. I know Claude Code is something else specific to Anthropic, but there was a whole thing of why OpenClaw to have multiple name changes because there was this name copyright thing or name trademark that OpenClaw went through with Anthropic. But anyways, the whole OpenClaw theme came from, I believe it was Doctor Who. And there was this lobster called TARDIS, I think, who was kind of just this lobster that would feature on Doctor Who episodes. And so I guess as a funny joke, he kind of wanted to emphasize on that whole thing in his own kind of, as his favorite show, in his own kind of development. So we get OpenClaw here now. But as you can see, I don't judge for your missing API keys, but your missing API keys are absolutely judging you. WhatsApp configure, enabled automatically. So I kind of already have WhatsApp added. I kind of have Windows detected, great on WSL2, native Windows trigger, blah, 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 blah. And then it kind of goes to the security concerns. So I want to state that personally, I do not think you should use OpenClaw for everything and anything. I hope you guys don't, because I don't know if you heard the stories. I don't know if you've heard the news, but OpenClaw at times has a tendency to run on its own and maybe send emails on its own without you telling it to, or send WhatsApp messages on its own with you not telling it to. So it kind of can operate on its own initiatives. I believe, unless you add enough context and prompting to direct it as to what it can and can't do. There has been talks of the best way to kind of use OpenClaw is to maybe set up its own directory that in its own folder that it can use, rather than giving it access to all of your files and all of your local files that it kind of can gather. That's a terrible idea. Instead, have a separate folder they can access and only access that thing for whatever content you put in it. But as you can see, OpenClaw is a hobby project and still in beta. Expect sharp edges. This bot can read files and run actions if tools are enabled. A bad prompt can trick it into doing unsafe things. Very good security statement there. If you are not comfortable with basic security and access control, don't run OpenClaw. Ask someone experienced to help before enabling tools or exposing it to the internet. Recommended baseline, pairing and allow lists and plus mention gating. Use it in a sandbox environment, plus least privileged tools. Keep secrets out of the agent's reachable file system. Use the strongest available model for any bot with tools or untrusted inboxes. And obviously run regularly the OpenClaw security checks for deep tests and fixes. So again, I am someone who never truly relies on AI. I am someone who's always fairly questioning AI and what it can and can't do and how much I trust it. So I expect you guys, whoever's watching this, to do the same, of understand like AI shouldn't be trusted 100%. And instead be mindful of what you're using it for. But yes, we understand that this is a powerful and inherently risky tool. But anyways, let's continue. Let's do it anyway. There you go. Cool. So again, you want to do a quick start onboarding. That should be good enough. I don't think you really want to use manual that bad. And you can see existing config detected. I've already installed it in the past. I'm guessing maybe because of my IP, or not IP, but could be because of however maybe memory that I have on my PC. It kind of remembers, okay, I detect that it's been artifacts have been installed before. We're just going to rerun the same thing. As you can see, I use 5.3 codecs, which I actually enjoy a lot. I've used it for my own kind of vibe coding stuff. Also, quick take, I very rarely ever code straight from the mental anymore. It's actually kind of wild, where 3 years ago, I remember myself on Substack, on YouTube, on GitHub, constantly searching, on Reddit, constantly searching for solutions to errors that I might have been experiencing for days on end, and constantly having to talk to various coworkers for days on end about how to solve certain things. And these models have become so amazing to where you can, an example of what I do, if I really have something that I want to develop and I know that I don't possess all the knowledge of the world and I'm not a, 40-year, 50-year plus software engineer, I simply go to ChatGPT, I use the Pro Series, Oh, I mean, I'm sure like you can use Claude too, but I'm over a ChatGPT fan these days. But I simply go to ChatGPT. I use the Pro series, uh, and which I think is like a $200 a month thing. But I use the Pro series to write all of my code, and I call it now like microwavable code, right? Before it would be, and I'm kind of going on a tangent right now, I know, but just hear me out. Before I would feel like an oven, right? When you place something in the oven, it takes a lot longer, but your food is more thoroughly cooked. Cool. Now, and that was like when I used to code in the past of like, it might have taken me a lot longer, but I knew what I was doing because I had to do the mental work of finding the solution. Now I kind of have this microwavable code where I have an idea, I set up a thought out prompt, I throw it to the Pro series of ChatGPT, and it kind of bakes for like 18 to 20 minutes. Sometimes longer, but rarely. It kind of cooks for 18 to 20 minutes. And then ding, like it pops out with ready to use code that might need some tweaks to it, honestly. But again, we can iterate on that, but it takes me it takes a way faster time than what I used to when I used to kind of use the oven method when coding. But anyways, OpenClaw can also be that thing. OpenClaw can also code. OpenClaw can also give solutions to code. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to use the existing values I have here. And we have OpenAI, Anthropic for various kind of models you can set up. We're going to use OpenAI today, and it's going to ask for the. I'm not using the. I mean, you could, I guess, but I am going to use the OpenAI Codex, ChatGPT OAuth kind of option, which it does direct you to kind of log into OpenAI, and that's kind of about it, rather than using the OpenAI key, but it works pretty well. And so once you have that all done, it then begins to ask you whether you want to use Telegram, WhatsApp, blah, 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 blah. And you can begin to kind of figure out which one you want to use. We're going to skip this for now, but you can kind of figure out which one to use. Personally, I use the WhatsApp one. I don't really trust it when it comes to using iMessage. I'm kind of scared of that. I don't know if I really want it to have access to my messages. I don't really use WhatsApp that often, which is why I'm kind of more comfortable with it. But yeah, highly recommend using WhatsApp or Telegram instead of using iMessage if you have an iPhone. But we're going to skip this for now, but you at least know the idea. And then from then on, right, configure skills now. Yes. Now, this is the cool part. This is the part that really makes OpenClaw pretty cool, is you have all these different skills that you can kind of play with. So personally, the ones that I've used is this Blog Watcher one. I think I use not CamSwap, Gemini CLI I use, the GitHub skill I use, and I think it was, it might have been Xcurl. But again, these are all different skills that you can hand to OpenClaw to use with, I guess, whatever you ask it to do through either your iMessage, through Telegram, or through WhatsApp, so that I can search for whatever you need or generate whatever you need. I see that it has like OpenAI image generation and OpenAI Whisper, as well as OpenHue. I haven't used this, but I don't have a Philips Hue light kind of thing. But it seems like if you have it, you're able to kind of control the lighting using OpenClaw, which is pretty cool. Now, this is an open source project, so the cool part about this is there's going to be skills constantly being added. So from various people. Now, even though there's skills constantly being added, the security piece, most of the time, not even most of the time, all the time, is not going to be there. So be careful of what skills you use. I prefer to use skills that I think I can trust. For example, this Gemini one or this Blog Watcher one seem fairly simple, or this GitHub one, versus trying to use something that I never heard of or never used, so forth and so on. So yeah. And again, we're going to skip this for now, and I'm going to let you guys handle that. Please select, oh yes, I got to select one, didn't I? Oh, space. There you go. Cool. So again, I'm not going to do all this today. Notion, no, I don't have one for this. I actually use the session memory one. If you are going to use a hook, use session memory so that it can save context about you over time and gather information about you on what you like, what you need, and how I guess you operate. So I would do the session memory. And then again, gateway service already installed. I would just restart it, but we're going to skip this for now. But use this node for gateway services, stable plus supported, yada, yada, yada. Again, that's up to you. But in a general case, that's kind of a crash course on OpenClaw, how to install it, the skills you can kind of use with it, and how you can kind of maneuver and what you can kind of use within it. If you have any questions, please make sure to add them in the comments so maybe we can all answer them. And maybe if someone provides a right answer, we can all copy that answer. Again, I want to state that OpenClaw is not 100% safe. It is an open source project, and usually when anything is open source, you can get a lot of bad actors that like to tinker and that like to kind of take people's data. So be careful on how you use it responsibly, use it with some type of careful knowledge, go on YouTube and see what other people have used it for so that you can become more mindful on how you want to use it and what use cases you have. If you like this video, please make sure you subscribe. Please make sure you like. Please make sure you leave comments. I want to know what you think. I want to know what you have used OpenClaw for, and provide any feedback or suggestions on maybe what I should use OpenClaw for, and maybe other videos. And with that being said, bye-bye.